This is produced as part of the ongoing work on the website, thewaythetruthandthelife.net. This is Monday, February 7th, 2011. I've been working on the website and recognize that I've discovered a Muslim with Christ's spirit. Muhammad denied Christ was the firstborn Son of God, but Christ's spirit is alive. Jesus, the Christ, said, "Greater love hath no man than he lay down his life for his friend." And I've discovered a Muslim who has done that. His name is Mohammed Bouazizi. On December 17th, after he had been abused by authorities over and over and his dead father degraded, he went and confronted the authorities, and when he could receive no help, he sacrificed himself, and his sacrifice has spoken to Muslims throughout the Arab world and elsewhere also. Muhammad denied that Jesus was the Son of God. Muhammad is an antichrist. He accepted Jesus, but claimed to be better than him, higher, later, of more importance. And he denied the sacrifice of Christ and denied Christ's spirit living in him. But here is a young Muslim who represented that spirit, and I pray that it will speak to others. I just watched the video, the last video I made, Moslems Need Help Too. That was number 12. And it brought tears to my eyes because I realize that my prayer for Muslims have been answered.
Vegetable seller Mohammed Bouazizi argued with a policewoman who confiscated his produce and scales yet again. She responded with a slap across his face and an insult to his dead father. Bouazizi's mother says the incident outraged him so much that he set himself alight outside the police headquarters and unleashed a revolution.
He went to the provincial headquarters. He said, "Open the door, open the door." He said, "I'm tired, I'm upset, my nerves are shot." They didn't even listen, and he did what he did. He said, "I was humiliated, I was beaten, my honor was undermined, my father was insulted. What do I have left in my life?" No one paid any attention. Even when they saw him on fire, the alarm was raised. They brought a fire extinguisher, but it was empty.
Mohammed Bouazizi died later from his burns, but his actions captured the imagination of millions. Demonstrations have spread across the country. Leader Zain al-Abidin bin Ali was deposed after years of oppressive rule. The country's interim president is pledging a complete break with the past.
In the barren fields just outside Sidi Bouzid lies the body of 26-year-old Mohammed Bouazizi in the peace and dignity that eluded him in life. His fresh grave marked only by the Tunisian flag that drapes over it. On December 17th, Mohammed Bouazizi, a single man who had supported his widowed mother and siblings since the age of 10, took to the streets with his fresh produce cart to earn a day's wage.
At around 10 a.m. as he was making his way through the streets, the policewoman began to harass my son, so he called his uncle to help him. She left him alone only to return later to confiscate his cart. Mohammed said no. The policewoman took the fruit, but when she tried to take his scales, Mohammed refused. She slapped him and began to insult and curse his father.
Mohammed, frustrated and ashamed by the public humiliation he endured at the hands of police, set himself on fire outside the local municipality building. His closest friends, anguished by Mohammed's actions, took to the streets and began a popular uprising that lasted for weeks before it toppled the 23-year-old rule of President Zain Abidine Ben Ali. In one of the most foretelling moments at the peak of the Tunisian uprising, the soon-to-be ousted president visited a badly burned Bouazizi in his hospital bed just before he died.
I don't know whether that young man who sacrificed himself to confront the evil in Islamic countries but my prayer for Christ's Spirit to help them has been answered, and I'm so thankful. This number 13 will be my last video of this series, as I feel that my prayers have been answered, and I'm so thankful to see this Spirit of Christ living and inspiring Muslims. May they come to Christ, who removed the priests from between us and our source of creation. We're part of God. We're like a cell in God's body. We live and we die, but we can contribute to the strength of the body. We can contribute to the new cells coming on. Something of Christ's Spirit can live in us and pass through us to build. Thank you. I may look a little weary, and I am. The Friday before January 27th, I just finished working almost 2 months on redigitizing videotape of a 1985 hearing on electroshock treatment. I had testified at that 1985 hearing, giving them literature from Winchester and from Thymatron, the maker of the electroshock machines, that it was equivalent to 3 .25 caliber pistol slugs in the head. I finished digitizing this 3-day conference. You can find it on YouTube, and I'll put it on my website. And I called a friend, George Ebert, in New York, and he said the following week, this is 2011, the following week they were going to try to reclassify shock machines. They had still been held at Class 3 experimental hazardous. And I had the opportunity to go and testify that they had the energy of dropping a 15-pound baby off a 10-foot high building. They won't do the long-term research. It's like hitting somebody over the head with a 2x4. They don't even know who they are for a while, and if they're suicidal, they forget it. And they won't do the long-term studies. The machine wouldn't even be approved if it was brought on the market today. They couldn't use it on humans. It was in use before the Food and Drug Administration had authority over these devices. I was so thankful I could give the testimony. But on my way there, it was snowing very hard. You may have heard about the terrible blizzards and so forth. That was later on in the day. When I was going through Richmond, Virginia, it was raining. And a man passed me on the right-hand side, cutting in a little bit. I moved to the left, concern of an accident. But there was an underpass, 4-lane highway with cement barriers on both sides, and an underpass, and a pool of water was on my left side, and it caught the car and threw it into one wall across 4 lanes of traffic at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1:30 or so. Busy traffic on I-95, and threw it into the other wall, Airbags went off. The car was totaled. I jumped out of the car and went up the road a little bit, fear that it was going to be hit, sticking out in traffic. A woman stopped and identified herself as a helper that is a Christian. And I told her how important it was that I get to Washington. She would have taken me there. That would have meant an overnight trip for her. But the police came, an ambulance came, the wrecker came. She knew where to take the car. We took the car to this repair shop. And from the office, I called my insurance company. Within 2 hours, I was on the road again with a car that had global positioning service. And then the snow started, so I got a motel. The next morning, I got up at 5 in the morning and was able to drive right to where the hearing was because the rental car had global positioning service. In God we live and move and have our being. I've had enough experiences when serving God, experiences that violate time and chance. Dumped in the middle of Ukraine with no money. And no problem. I got a policeman, a Russian policeman at the border where they dumped me. I didn't have a transit visa. But a Russian policeman that could speak English, and he drove me overnight to the next day at Voronezh to get another train. And he would have lent me the money, but we found a nightclub that would give me money on my bank card. I could tell you of times in Moscow and so forth. I could tell you of when I went across the country and down into Mexico as a 15-year-old. I could tell you many things, but I want to tell you I've seen Christ's Spirit in a Muslim, and it isn't Mohammed's spirit. It's a spirit of love and grief over the evils that are destroying good. Jesus said, "Greater love hath no man than he lay down his life for his friend." And this young Muslim, again, his name was Mohammed Bouazizi from Tunisia. And his sacrifice has inspired Muslims all over the world to confront evil. I'm so thankful that I've lived to see this, and I pray that Muslims will accept Jesus as the Son of God, put on the cross, sacrificed, willingly died to remove any barrier between us and God. God is everything. We are made from His substance. In God we live and move and have our being. Let's hope we can do something in our life that Christ's Spirit is being served, is living in us, and is being transferred, inspiring the next generation. That's what gives meaning to our life. And I pray for all Muslims that they might find Christ's Spirit. The Muslims that I know in southern Russia, by and large, have suffered more than the Russians that they've been ethnically cleansing, and the judges that they've been killing, and the peaceful imams they've been killing. I pray that God will end this evil. Thank you.
You know, I didn't come down into this world for picnics and ball games. I came here to enter into the abyss and to pin the devil against the wall. Serve your purpose, and I'll serve mine. And if you feed off fear, there ain't no meal for you here. True love is tough love when you're dealing with a dark world, especially when most are ignorant of what's at stake. Touchy-feely love just ain't gonna cut it. Our task is to heal the broken who think they're whole. We're sensitive to vibrations of a lower kind. We feel the weight of the world all the time. We carry the pains most could not bear. And that's why agape love is here. I'm sure you know this world does not tolerate the light. And that's why those who shine most are always sacrificed. My brothers and sisters, we are not of this world. We will keep shining bright, for it's the reason we came. And it's the reason we must go. Love will overcome. It always has, and it always will. So if you're in the dark right now, prepare yourselves. 'Cause ready or not, here we come.